It's time for everyone's favorite fictional character, Frankenstein's monster. Fire, bad. Smoke, good. John Fetterman, every time they do an interview with him, I never know which John Fetterman we're going to get. Look at this. Here's a picture. There's at least 6 different John Fettermans out there. And I think each of these iterations of Fetterman, all 6 of them have a different political view. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. We're here in exile. I'm so glad you guys made it. Hope you'll come in here and have a little bit of entertainment with media. All I want to do is try to make news, media, entertaining for you to get the big stories of the day. This one's about the big philosophy of how Democrats do not give a flying rip about rule of law.
Behind Dave McCormick, Democratic officials in at least one key county, Bucks County, voted to count about 115 provisional ballots that they're missing a signature.
They're just missing a signature, which makes them illegal. Anyone could have thrown a ballot in if it doesn't have a signature on it. That's why the law is there and it says they're illegal. And they just decided we're only going to count 15, 150. It's not a big sin. It's an itty bitty sin, not a big law break. It's an itty bitty law break. Itty bitty.
Despite the Pennsylvania Supreme Court previously ruling that those are invalid, I want you to take a listen to how one Democratic Bucks County commissioner justified her actions.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Well, that's one standard. I think the entire Doug in Exile audience should embrace this standard. Judges, they flaunt the law all the time. So if I flaunt the law, I get to also, because I want to bring it to the court's attention. And that's why we all can cheat on our taxes. Just an itty bitty. Just whatever you owe to the government, just say, I want to pay $2,000 less. It's tiny compared to what you guys spend. It's tiny. And maybe I just want to bring it to if the IRS doesn't catch it, great. And if they do, I was trying to bring it to their attention anyways. So I'm not a lawbreaker. I'm a revolutionist. These Democrats, guys, this is scary stuff that these people are in leadership.
So the Washington Post editorial board called that, quote, corrosive to democracy.
Corrosive to democracy. The Democrat Party called that Democrat a corrosive to democracy. Remember before the election, who was danger to the democracy? Democracy's on the ballot, and we all called out that it was the Democrats. It's the Democrats. The Democrats now are calling this other Democrat corrosive to democracy, not Trump. Trump is not. Democrats are corrosive to democracy and our courts.
Quote, and said, quote, county officials do not get to decide whether a legal requirement is material and must be followed. Courts do, and they have spoken clearly, unquote. What's your take? What's your response to that Democratic official deliberately announcing that they're going to defy court orders and count these provisional ballots?
Well, I'm not going to chase every kinds of quotes, things like that, because I think you just pointed out that it refers to about 115 ballots, and that's not going to have an impact on this race at this point.
That's Fetterman. I think that's version 7.4 of him.
I'm a fan of my colleague from Florida, and I'm going to vote yes for Senator Rubio. And then, with Dr. Oz, everybody understands that we ran in the same cycle, and it got kind of ugly, and I don't have any kind of bitterness, and I just expressed I'm open to a dialogue to hear what he has to say about these things. I'm not sure why that's controversial to say, hey, I think I saw a great from Bill Maher. He just said, I'm not going to pre-hate. I'm not going to pre-hate a lot of these things. And I'm not going to pre-hate this. I'm going to have an open conversation.
Says, it's only 115 or whatever provisional ballots, so it's not going to affect anything. Just cheat a little bit. It's okay to break the law a little bit. These people you can't trust them with anything. Like I said, what if we cheated on our taxes that way? What if I lied to the FBI that way when they came and interviewed me and they asked me a question? Just a little tiny lie, Suddenly they are the party of they do not care about law. They've been lying to us all, even about Trump beforehand. They had projected onto him he was against democracy when they've been against it all along. And further, I've got one more thing. Not only are Democrats corrosive to democracy, said that judge, but you go look at what they did to the law. The judges did to the law. She said the courts will tell you what the law is. Look at the courts in New York, in Manhattan. The Fonnie Willis case, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Jack Smith, they're corrosive to the courts also. We have no idea what's coming, the amount of cleaning up we do. This is so dishonest. They've discredited themselves. They're destroying our institutions, but especially this one in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We could have lost the election because of her, but we didn't. And John Fetterman, go back in your cave. I'm Doug, in exile.